There you are. Be with you in one sec, just getting all the different things in place. Meditation's coming. Okay, YouTube's on. Everything's nearly there. Just waiting on Facebook, as usual. All right. Okay. Stupendous. How are you? How's the day going? Well, I hope. It's all right if it's not. Every day isn't always brilliant. It's fine. But I hope it's going well for you. We're going to do some meditation now. This isn't a class. It's just a chance to meditate together. It's part of these daily meditations are part of the further emergence work I do. And I'll explain all about that at the end when we're finished the meditation. So if you're used to meditating, if you're familiar with it, if you're experienced, brilliant. Can you hang on for a minute while I explain what I do, just for the benefit of people who are new to meditation? There's lots of different styles of meditation. This is just what I do. For me, it starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect with the part of me that I connect to every night when I sleep. Not the dreaming bit, the bit after dreaming. So I'm dreaming and then I drop out the bottom of dreaming into deep dreamless sleep, where I have no thoughts, no memories, no worries, no emotions, no personality, no body even, no country, no nothing. It all disappears, including me, because I'm not really around. I'd cease to be there. Certainly in the way I normally register that I'm around, which sounds awful. Really, I mean the whole thing, it sounds like death. And yet I love going to sleep, and when I wake up in the morning I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that is a good place that I go to, and that's the place I want to go to when I meditate. I just want to do it consciously. So if you're new to meditation, don't do this lying down, because you'll fall asleep, or you'll battle sleep, both of which are contrary to what you're trying to do. So yeah, just sit up. You don't have to sit up in a lotus position or anything like that. I'm just sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, don't sit in a big comfy armchair or you're back into the sleep thing. So as I said, there's no thoughts in this place that I go to and that I want to go to in meditation. My mind can't seem to get there. So I have to figure out some way of working with my mind, or I like to think of it as parting the curtains of my mind to get into this place. So I just make an arrangement with my mind. I just say, hey, can you just not think for the next 15 minutes because I want to meditate? And my mind is on board for the idea. So that's good. It's important to have your mind on board. Then to stop thinking is not that hard. It's not hard to stop because regardless of what I'm thinking about, which you could say is the contents of my thought, the structure of my thought is always the same. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, that's it. I'm not thinking. And as soon as I do that, I'm into the practice of meditation. Now, the practice of meditation runs parallel with the intention of meditation. So my intention is, as I said, to go to this deep, still, calm, profound, possibly eternal, Zen-like. I'm just trying to think of all the words that are used to describe meditation. That place. And then the practice runs parallel with it, and it pretty much starts as soon as I stop thinking. So what happens is I stop thinking, so I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound, then some time passes and I discover that I'm thinking again. I go, oh, I'm thinking again. So I turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, I bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time passes and I discover I'm thinking again. Oh, I'm thinking again, right. Turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time passes and I discover I'm thinking again. Oh, thinking again. Turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, and so on. So the practice of meditation is repeatedly bringing myself back to not thinking every time I discover that I am thinking. And it's important to know that thinking can happen during meditation. The intention is to go to this deep, still place where there's no thinking, but thinking happens. My mind is just used to thinking. I'm thinking all day long. I've been thinking all day long my whole life. I'm in the habit of it. So if you have this misconception that you shouldn't be thinking at all, and if you're thinking at all, you're doing it wrong, you'll be giving yourself a hard time, and you'll be adding to your thinking by thinking that your thinking is too much. The main thing is, every time you discover you're thinking, you bring yourself back to not thinking. If you do that, you'll be doing fine, because it's very both are very powerful in their own way. It's very powerful when you go into this deep, still place, but it's also very powerful when you discover that you're thinking. It's just the power is just a bit more subtle, because what happens is, if you're like me, the sort of things you're thinking about are all to do with you. So I'm thinking, oh, well, what am I going to do about that thing? Why did I say that to that person? Why did that person say that thing to me? And so on. Now, if I'm thinking one of those kind of thoughts, and I'm in the middle of meditation, and I go, oh, in the middle of meditation, turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking. Indirectly, what I'm saying to myself is, you know that thought that you just had, that you thought was you and that you were it? Well, you just made that thought disappear. So you're obviously not that thought. You're not that thought. You're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. That's very powerful when you do that. And then the fact that you do that repeatedly, that's very powerful as well. So, as I said, the main thing is, don't add to your thinking by thinking about, oh, I'm thinking too many times, I have to bring myself back too many times. There's no right or wrong amount of time, because it changes, and it changes day to day and hour to hour. So the main thing is, every time you discover you're thinking, bring yourself back to not thinking, you'll be doing great. Now, while all that's going on, I'm also letting go of tension in my body, or I'm becoming more conscious of my body tension. So what I do is I scan my body from my head down to my feet and back up again very slowly, very gently, and anywhere I find tension, I let it go. And I use my out breath to let it go. So it's very natural to do that, you just breathe it away. But it's also a good way of bringing more awareness to my breathing, because it's quite easy to hold your breath during meditation or to stop breathing altogether. So using the out breath is good for that. The other thing I'm doing as I'm scanning my body is I'm paying particular attention to any structures in my body that go crossways. Mostly my body runs longitudinally, head to feet. Anywhere that goes across acts a little bit like a log going across a stream. It picks up the twigs and the branches and the leaves, anything that's coming down the stream, except on my body, that's tension. So I'm paying particular attention to my eyes, my jaw, my tongue, the base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints, they're all transverse sides as well. So shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, all my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my toes. It's very helpful to have a quiet room when you're meditating, just if you're starting out. Reason being, when you close your eyes, your hearing amplifies, and one of the things that triggers thoughts is noise. So the quieter the room, the better. And then the other thing I do to help my mind have less things to think about is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, but if you're new to meditation, I'd encourage you to set yours for 5 minutes maybe, and then repeat that 3 times, because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it. Even with the timer, around 7 or 8 minutes, your mind is going to kick in and go, you didn't set the timer. You should check your watch to make sure you set the timer right. Okay, so just having a quick look, see if there are any questions. There aren't. Good. Off we go then into the mystery. if you feel like you've gone very deeply inside, take a minute to come back from there before you open your eyes. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you lose contact with the inner space, then you can just close your eyes again. Oh, yep, there it is, got it again. Open that, no, lost again. And so on. You can use your eyes like a valve to balance the inner and the outer space. So as I said at the beginning, these daily meditations are part of Further Emergence. Further Emergence is to do with growth, inner growth, spiritual growth, growth in consciousness, awareness growth, all that sort of growth. And it, like if you think of your body, when your body was growing, you're a child, then you're an adolescent, and then you become an adult, and your body pretty much stops growing. It does other things. But you keep growing on the inside. And just like when your body was growing, say as a child, you might have gone through a period of accelerated growth, they're called like growth spurts. You do the same on the inside. You can go through periods where you go through accelerated growth on the inside, and that goes on for the rest of your life. And it's those periods of accelerated growth or inner growth spurts. That's what Further Emergence is about. So it's like you're continually emerging, you're continually growing, and then Further Emergence are those little bits where things speed up. Because just like when you were a kid and you had growing pains from growth spurts, they can be difficult. They can be hard to navigate. They can be painful. The main difference is that when you were a kid and you had growing pains, your parents didn't take you to the hospital, or they didn't take you to the doctor. They just said, I've got growing pain. They're just growing pains. The growing pains on the inside are a little bit harder to see in that way, see as natural. It can be easy to get the feeling that something's wrong or something's going wrong. Because, as I say, they're painful and they're disorienting. Because you can feel like, depending on how it kind of manifests for you, sometimes it can feel like, you can really feel like things are accelerating. And that can feel a little bit like going down a hill and your brakes fail in your car. It can be frightening. Or it can manifest as feeling stuck. Like you can feel this pressure building up and you just feel like, I feel stuck. I don't know why I'm stuck or what that causes. You can feel very disoriented. You can feel like, what is going on? How did I get here in my life? You can sort of have that feeling of waking up and going, what happened? I remember one woman saying to me one time, it's a terrible thing, John, to wake up one morning and discover you have 5 kids. That's a real Further Emergence kind of state of mind, because it can have that kind of overnight quality. Overnight, no one gets you anymore. No one understands what you're saying, and you don't really get anybody else either. And that can feel very lonely. You can feel very isolated with it, particularly if no one else around you is going through Further Emergence. You can feel like you're going a bit nutty. You can have physical symptoms. That's another way it can kind of present. So yeah, it's difficult. It can be difficult. So I've been through it myself loads of times, and I've helped lots of other people through it loads of times. So these daily meditations are a way of becoming a bit more familiar with your inner landscape, because that helps you navigate these inner growth spurts. There's a weekly Zoom group as well. That's a chance to meditate a bit more deeply. There's some questions and answers. You can hear other people's questions as well, and you can see there's other people going through it, the same kind of thing, and that helps with that feeling of loneliness or being alone with it. You go, oh, okay, it's not just me. Those Zoom groups, you can watch them on the wherever you're watching this video, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. You'll find the Zoom groups there somewhere as well. You can see what they're like, and they're open to everyone. You're welcome to come. The link for them is on the website furtheremergence.com. You'll see a link there for Zoom groups, and you can come along to them. So I do that. Then I work one-to-one with people as well. Like today, for example, is one of the days I work one-to-one with people. And that's a combination of, I sort of think of it as in front of the scenes and behind the scenes kind of work. So the in front of the scenes work is where we're talking and talking it through, where they're going, how it's going with them. And then I do distance, behind the scenes, energy work with them as well to help with the process. Then I've got books as well. You can read the books. They're helpful as well. So yeah, if you're still with me all the way to the end, and this is kind of ringing a little bell in the back of your mind, then you can either just go to the website and read more about it, or you can come along to a Zoom group, or you can just, like and subscribe and follow or whatever, depending on which way where you're looking at it, to just keep in touch with it all. Okay, so thanks very much for meditating with me, and I'll see you tomorrow for some more meditation. Bye.